All right, let's talk about the new Muskrat. You might have seen this for Toxic Day 4. So this is a project that my buddy Chris, who does a lot of my artwork, Paint for Food, or you'll see his Instagram, Mad Love. He's part of Toxic Baits, and I gave him this micro mink body years ago, and we decided to have some fun with like a little art project collab bait. So he overlaid this body with clay, right? With some crazy masterpiece, master splinter wrap thing that came out killer. And the early models that I was throwing, it had significant legs that stuck out and feet, and the trebles would kind of hang and stuff. And I only made maybe 10 or 12. Most of them were weighted really heavy to go down and kind of suspend and fish under, like a muskrat. And you could see that after I got it back, I realized how large it was and stuff. And I was like, man, that's really cool profile, kind of like a muskrat. And the nose was really long, and I had to do some modifications to really make it swim right, even though it looked really cool when Chris did it as like an art piece, right? So threw it for a couple years, caught some really big fish, lost some really, really big fish. But continuing my journey with Toxic, new baits came along, and it just kind of took the wayside. And since I wasn't using it, I sold off models and stuff. So last year, or 2 years ago maybe, or something, I put one together again for myself. It was almost a slow sink. And it always comes in clutch for me. Like, it seems to get bites even though it has this large profile. So deciding to bring it to market, I had it kind of dialed in the way I was fishing it. I would fish it multiple ways. I had different models with different lips. None of them were the same. So moving forward, I had to find, the best compromise, and I wanted to put together all the attributes that I felt like contributed to the large bites I was getting and catching consistently, fish over 5 pounds. And I didn't have a real wake for the market, and this profile is perfect for that. I mean, you could get it down. We will have heavier models. These first models are made to wake and shallow crank. So when I went into it, with rodent baits, sound comes into play. I wanted a little bit of roll, more than the other one had. For up top, I want a little bit of roll in the wake, and I wanted a certain sound. So when I tried to bring it to production, I made the model and then went crazy and said, okay, let me refine this how I want it. So I smoothed the body out, made it a little more symmetrical, still kind of wonky. That's why I kept it, because it got so many bites. It's a little off, but the ears I filled in instead of them being concave. Now they're just smooth, for ease of paint and stuff. And then I tried a couple joints, and I really went with a modified version of my bugle lips joint. It's a V here, right? And I've heard from a couple people some concern about it's pretty small for a large bait. But the pin is actually back in the body. This little protrusion, we used it certain ways, and it just worked out this way. This joint actually just makes a different noise, a different squeak, a different gurgle. So we decided, and I really liked it in this configuration, because it had the right sound and gave the right action. So I fell on this joint. If you're kind of newer to Toxic, I use all kinds of joints. I have an open screw-eye joint. My bugle lips has a joint that's like this, but it actually is reversed, and it has a cup on the rear section to catch water. I use a V joint on my little chorizo. Flat joints, screw-eye to pin, screw-eye to screw-eye. Like, I try to utilize every joint style that I can to deliver the optimum performance for the bait I'm trying to make. So this muskrat, once I got everything down, I was real happy, and I added this very large lip. I guess it's not very large compared to the bait size, but it's a pretty big lip. Now, with the heavy float models, the lips were smaller because being underwater, I got to get away with a little bit of more body roll, because underwater, it adds stability to the bait. So I didn't want to have too much twisty turny action. So, I mean, there's a little tip for guys who are making stuff. So I put this lip in there to really plow on the surface. And then the heavier models, it's still not too much to crank underneath. You could crank this one underneath, but it's just very buoyant. It's about 5 3/4 inches the body. I try to match the tail size to the body size on all my rats, rodents, whatever they are. This is about the same size, maybe a little shorter. Muskrats have a short tail. And it's 5 ounces. So 5 3/4 inches body, equal size tails, probably 11 inches, 12 inches total, and 5 ounces. It's very wide. You can see, like I said, this is overlaid. This is the micro mink, but it's overlaid with clay. Well, originally was, and then I sanded it down and smoothed it out so the hooks didn't hang. But you can see here how much bigger it is than the micro mink. 2 ounces heavier, different joint, 2-aught treble hooks that fit surprisingly well. They don't, I haven't had any issues with them hanging up on each other, and they're not too big for the bait. They fish nice, even though, and with 2-aughts, to be honest with you, even though I'm a 3X hook guy, when I move up into the 2-aught range, these ST36s that it comes with, these owner ST36 2-aughts, I don't switch them out because in that range they seem to be pretty strong. So the standard model's a great wake. It's you can get it down about a foot and a half. It looks great underwater also. You know, you could always add lead right here to the depression on the belly, like lead tape or whatever. Moving forward, we're gonna have some heavy float models designed to really get down there and almost suspend. But for now, for you guys looking for a really great wake rat that has a low thud, kind of rattle, squeak, gurgle, it makes a cool noise in the water. It definitely pushes a lot of water. You could walk it in place really easy. It doesn't take much to swing it back and forth. Even though it has this large lip, it still will walk in place. It's just a great overall profile. And I found this out because I had the bait. My buddy made it, and I just wanted to see what it would do. And the fish reacted great. I actually think that the shorter fat profile in a rodent is better than a longer skinnier profile in the rodent. I have an XL mink, and I've caught some really large fish on that also, fish over 10 pounds, all types of fish. And even though that's more naturally shaped like a mink, it just seems like whatever it is about this profile, this short, fat, stubby profile, wide, the fish just really aggressively targeted. So I'm happy that we brought it to market. We had some for Toxic Day. We'll be dropping these steadily until you guys stop buying them. Cool bait, like I said, 5 3/4 inch body, same size tail, 5 ounces, 2-aught treble. I'm throwing this on my iRod Genesis 3 swim bait sniper that I designed to throw from 2 to 6 ounce baits. Sometimes I get some questions that if it can throw those larger baits in the upper range. I throw this 5 ounce bait without issue. Like, honestly, casting it, not saying that the rod can handle it, but it's training. It really doesn't. It has that mod fast action, and this blank is just great at loading up and tossing baits in the smaller and on the lower end of the range, the 2 ounce range, all the way up to 6. So now my lines I use for rat fishing, I'll use braid to fluoro in heavy cover. You got to remember that fish that eat rats are aggressively going to bite these. So sometimes if you use straight braid, it can lead to some hairy situations with the trebles because they will shark it and try to kill it, you know. But my braid of choice, P-line TCB. I like the 8 carrier. There's a blue box that's 4 carrier. That stuff is like a chainsaw. I just prefer the smooth line. I throw this to one of these leaders. Daiwa Samurai has a fluorocarbon leader material I've been using that's really been great. But my standbys for years has been this P-Line Shinshi fluorocarbon leader. And this CFX fluorocarbon is pretty good too. I just always use this, but I've used this without issue. 25 pounds, what I could recommend. You could go up to 30. That's pretty heavy because this shock leader is really tough stuff. Now, fluorocarbon, if you're a fluorocarbon person, that's great. I like fluorocarbon. I don't really know if it has tons of advantages with certain hard baits. But when I do throw big stuff like this, I throw the Daiwa Samurai. I like it because it's supple. It's not real stiff and hard, but it's still strong. This is 25 pound. And then my go-to line that I've used forever that I actually have spooled up right now, my Lexa that's on my reel, is the original P-Line PF Co-Poly 30 pound. This 30 pound PF is the same diameter as most 20 pound in other stuff. Or if you use P-Line CXX, if you use 25 or 30, the equivalent in PF is like 40. So make sure you read the line diameter size when you pick your line. So I throw everything on this. I throw the Frenzy on this. You can throw baits all the way up into the 11-ounce range. So those are my recommendations for the tackle to use, either 25 or 30. I go with 30 because why not? It's thin. Most 25 pound lines fine, I feel like, with that size lure. Like I said, fluoro or braid to shock leader. Definitely use the shock leader because they eat rats pretty freaking hard. And if you short line them, it could lead to some situations with in and out hooks or tearing out of their mouth. So hopefully that wasn't too long of a ramble. But there she is, the new Toxic Baits Muskrat. I've been making it for over 5 years, I think, something like that. But now it's ready for you guys. I just went out a couple days ago and popped like a little 4-pounder on it, just to wake it in the wind. So throw it on the iRod Swim Bait Sniper or any other rod that you choose to toss it on. If I was going to use my Lowdown Customs, I'd throw it on the Heavy Workshop or the new Heavy standard issue that's due to release. So thanks for stopping by.